Oh shit. I know that music. Good thing this series is known for its dream sequences. Anyways, what is up, my maniacs? I'm the Awesome Maniac, and today is a special day. Today is Friday the 13th, and I'm going to be doing something special for this very special day. I am going to be looking at my top 5 movies in the Friday the 13th film series, which I will eventually do an entire ranking of all 12 movies, but for now, I'm just going to be looking at the my top 5 favorite movies and what they mean to me and what they actually mean to the rest of cinema. Because every movie impacts cinema in some way. And you'll get a special word from one of my friends at the end of the video. So stay tuned until the end, and let's get started. Number 5, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Now this movie is some people's favorite, or at least their second favorite, because they usually put 6 and 4 at the top. But 6, I really liked the fun direction they went after the really gross, and I don't mean gross as in gore, I mean gross as in a little too much with the nudity in part 5. And I think it was a nice departure from what they did in part 4 and 5, you know, the darker tone. But this movie, directed by Tom McLaughlin, It was a more fun approach. It was some of the counselors, they were actually poking fun at the Jason mythos, but not making fun of it, because there's a thin line between making fun of something and having fun with something. But the director, he found that perfect balance, and I believe it's the second highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, only behind the original, which I can get, I guess. But what it means to me is I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot compared to the other movies. I mean, I enjoyed all of them except for Part 8. You should know I don't like that one. Anyways, what it means to me is a very fun movie, but I think it means more to cinema than it does to me, because I can't remember the guy's name, but the screenwriter or the writer for Scream took a lot of elements from this movie, because if you remember one scene, this couple, they were driving down the road in the car, and she made the exclamation, "I've seen enough horror movies to know that the guy in a mask is not going to be friendly." And I just love that it was actually a big influence for Scream, and that's what it means to cinema, it means to me. On to number 4 is the Friday the 13th reboot that came out in 2009. I liked most of the characters in this. You know, Trent is Trent, let's just put it that way. But I liked Chewie, and I cannot believe I forgot the token black character's name. But I had a lot of fun with this movie, especially with Derek Mears as Jason. He absolutely killed it. Like, this dude was scary. Like, whenever I was watching the trailer for this, like when it first came out all those years ago, God, we're old now. That one scene where the girl, she's like looking for Jason, and she opens up the curtain and Jason's right behind her, and the way he chokes her and like that little stare he gives, absolutely terrifying. What it means to cinema is, well, it just happens to be the latest Friday the 13th movie to come out, and it came out 10 years ago. And it doesn't look like we're going to get another one for at least 5 years. So, not everything that is what it means to cinema is going to be good. But, that's why we have number 3. Number 3 means a lot to me. Freddy vs. Jason, that came out in 2003. It was the first time both these characters were on screen together, if you don't count Jason Goes to Hell when Freddy drags the mask down. But what it means to me, I went over this in my my previous series, the best horror movies from 1960 to 2018. Go check out that playlist. But what it means to me is it was the first horror movie I ever saw. I was 4 years old. My mom and dad, they took me to see it in the theaters when it came out. Oh wait, no, I was 3, almost 4, because my birthday was like a month after it came out. But it was the first horror movie I've ever seen. It was my first experience seeing Jason, and I love that big old mongoloid. And then I got my first look at Freddy too, and it was just my first look into the world of horror. When I've obviously become very attached to it, considering that's what most of my channel is about, including some other things, but that's not the point in this video. I've joined several groups on Facebook, including my Killer Flicksters, my Wham fans, or my fellow Wham fans, movies that move me. It's just where we all talk about horror, and I've actually gotten to see a few movies that I never thought I would, like Return of the Living Dead. People recommended that to me, and I loved it. But that's what it means to me. What it means to cinema, it was Robert Englund's last performance as Freddy Krueger. If you don't count that episode of Goldberg's, which I don't know if you should, but fuck it, we'll count it. But it was the last time we got to see Robert Englund as Freddy before the remake came out 7 years later. Also, I believe it was the highest grossing movie in both of their franchises, which says something. Anyways, that's what it means to me and what it means to cinema. Moving on to number 2, which coincidentally is Friday the 13th Part 2. I know a lot of people, to them it's just a run-of-the-mill Friday the 13th movie, which I can get, but I don't know, I've seen special things about this that I like more than the others. Like, for example, what it means to me, the characters. I really like all the characters, other than that girl that went skinny dipping and that perv that was chasing her. Besides those two, I like them all, including Ginger. I cannot remember his name. Ratatouille looking motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about. But I really like Mark, I really like Vicky, I really like Ginny, who might be my number 1 favorite final girl. I really like Amy Steele's performance. You guys know all this. You've seen my Friday the 13th Part 2, and if you haven't, then go check it out. I mean, it's there. Why not? What it means to cinema, it was the first movie that Jason was the killer in. It's got to be special for something. Even if he didn't have his famous hockey mask on, he had the sack head. Oh, sack head. This little boy right here. Which leads us to number 1. But before we get to number 1, why don't we hear a quick word from my friend, Devin Heaton, from the YouTube channel Heaton's House of Horror. And if you haven't seen or heard of that, then go check it out. The link's in the description. All that stuff. Anyways, let's hear it from him.
Hey guys, Devin Heaton here from Heaton's House of Horror. So my top 5 favorite Friday the 13th films would have to be Freddy vs. Jason, Part 2, Part 3, Jason Lives, Part 7, and the reboot. I don't really have any specific reasons other than just nostalgic purposes. I find that, aside from Part 2, because he doesn't have the hockey mask, for Part 2, I actually really liked the sackhead mask. That was pretty badass. But the other masks in the other films that I just mentioned, they're really cool. I really like the hockey masks in those films. Mind you, there are some films in this franchise that have really shitty masks. Cough, Jason Goes to Hell, what the fuck? So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. It's just nostalgic purposes. I always remember walking down to the living room when I was a kid and hanging out with my dad, and he'd be watching either Freddy vs. Jason or the reboot or like any of those films that I just mentioned. It's always those films that my dad liked, which I remember very clearly, just hanging out with him and having a good time and getting some good laughs in, believe it or not. But yeah, it's just nostalgic purposes, guys. Have a good one.
Well, Devin, for starters, Friday the 13th Part 6 is the one called Jason Lives. But you know what? I think I'll let that little blunder go as long as you end up reviewing the series like I did with the Child's Play. Yeah, I'm waiting. Which finally leads us to number 1, my favorite Friday the 13th movie, And my third favorite movie, no, my second favorite movie of all time. If you haven't learned by now, then you're gonna learn quick, because it's Friday the 13th, the final chapter. What it means to me. What it means to me, this is the second Friday the 13th movie I ever saw, behind Freddy vs. Jason. But Friday the 13th final chapter it's everything I love about the series. It's the brutal kills, it's the great characters, it's Jason just doing his goddamn thing better than anyone else. That's why Ted White is my favorite performance, and why Jason Voorhees is one of my favorite movie characters of all time, if not number one. I don't understand why. I know a lot of people see the hockey mask and they think, oh yeah, that's Jason. It's not just Jason. Jason Voorhees is... Oh wait. Jason Voorhees is special to me. I've dressed up as him more than anyone I've ever had. More than anyone I have for Halloween. I get to, every Halloween, when I put on that hockey mask and I take up that fake machete, I get to live out my dream, which is not murdering people. Let me get that straight. It's scaring people and just having a good time with people. I get so many photos taken with me every year. It absolutely is one of my favorite experiences I've ever had, is every single year putting on that hockey mask and going around and just everybody knowing who I am and everybody loving that character. Like, they know that character. Like, there's I don't know anyone that doesn't know him. But Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th is, I'm about to say it's a holiday for me. And I don't know what else I can say about it, because that's just how much Jason means to me. I know it may sound stupid, it's just this giant mongoloid serial killer with a hockey mask that goes around just killing people who have sex at the lake and shit like that, but he means more to me. And I just wanted to get that point across. I love Jason Elias Voorhees. Ridiculous as that may sound, that's just me. And now I'm gonna go watch these top 5 favorite movies and have a good time. So, see you guys later. Like, share, subscribe, turn on that bell icon to get notifications on videos in the future. I finally got that part right. And if you want to, I have created a Patreon. If you want to go donate, the link is in the description. But I'm just gonna have to say bye to you guys and see you in the next time. Bye.